I'm excited today because, you know, we have all kinds of people on here, but like this time we got like a multi-tiered threat. Like just does so many things. Can style you if you need, can give you some therapy if you need, sitting on the couch, can act so well that you believe the character. You get mad at her when she's on the screen as somebody else. And just an all-around dope person, you know, who loves the Lord as well. So, man, I'm excited. I know y'all gonna be excited. Y'all gonna be blessed by this conversation. I got who I didn't know was a former neighbor of mine. Crystal Renee in the building, man. Yeah. I'm excited too. This is dope, man.
Like what you do here is amazing. I love your podcast. Don't have to be your consultator.
I'm just new to this podcast, man. I'm just taking notes. I'm just watching what you got going on. Figure it out.
No, that's what you do. Like, season by season, you figure it out.
You do a really good job, too, because we were just talking about this. You're very vulnerable. And I think your vulnerability allows other people to be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, backstory, we was talking a little bit, but I know there's people who know you.
Yeah.
But then there's some people who are like, I seen her on TV or I seen the podcast, but I don't know her story or anything about her specifically. So you were just saying, you originally Tennessee, Tennessee. Okay. And you went to UT Martin.
I did.
Yeah. And I was saying that I went to school in Tennessee too. I really low-key, I should have said I went to TSU because that's where I spend most of my time.
Most of my mom and dad was TSU.
Really?
I was Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
They're
Oh, well, I do. Hey, listen, that's their business. That's their business, not mine. I don't know how that happened. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, no, so I used to, oh man, I used to get the TSU to Fisk. Shout out to all my Fisk and TSU people. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. So I was basically raised on that campus.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was raised on that campus, but you know what I'm saying?
Jongens, jullie op uw borst, ne? Ja, jullie weten nou niet meer.
I was raised from the dead after leaving that campus, okay? Let's see like that. That's it. And some things happen.
Listen,
You know what I'm saying? Things happen. We just gonna keep that buried underwater, okay? It's underwater. But then you moved to Atlanta.
I moved to Washington, D.C.
You moved to D.C., that's right.
Worked on Capitol Hill.
Like, why? What? I don't know.
So what happened was my poli-sci teacher, who actually was a member of my church growing up in Martin,
Okay.
he asked me, he's like, have you ever thought about going into politics? And I'm going, no, that's not really my thing. I was a comm major. I wanted to be a publicist to athletes, and I wanted to be an event planner. So I love putting parties together.
Okay.
And that was just my dream. And he was like, I think you should try this at least, see if you like it. Let's do it as an internship. So out of the whole state of Tennessee, they chose 3 college students, and I was one of the 3 that got to go to DC for a semester, and then ended up getting a job. So,
Like, was that exciting, or was that like, did you want to be out there?
I didn't know. I'm always excited to try new things.
Okay.
So for me, it was let's try it, see how I like it.
Yeah.
And when I got there, DC was where I found myself because you've been to Martin.
I was about to say, I mean, it's like low-key country compared to the rest of the world.
Very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, have you traveled before that?
Not much. No.
Okay. So you still green.
I was very green. Like I would walk past and say to one of the people, and they're looking like I got tentacles growing out my head.
Yeah.
Why are you speaking? I'm like, okay, so people don't talk. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Mind your business. Get where you're going and do your job and make friends when you can.
Right.
So it was in that moment where I found my sense of style in DC. I really found who I was. This is my first time being away from home.
Oh, let me interrupt you real quick. Okay, y'all, because listen, as you're watching this, there are interruptions like this one telling you to download the B-Side app. Because there's no interruptions when you watch the B-Side app. It's straight through. Make sure you download that and watch it.
Was dog toe hier zo?
Zero interruptions.
Dus
Some
poes.
true content.
Je doet graag door een stierfilm.
So I actually
zie je,
like,
ja,
who I
ja.
am today, even like my fashion, the way I think, the way I
Geen hoor.
different people have
Moet doen
so
Ik heb toch een level hier. Omdat ik naar jou toe kom.
from that Martin
Gezien, ja, ze gaan nou 2 uur available is.
Watching
Ano ba say? Zaterdagochtend. Zij zei er is het weer available is.
Best kom ik maar in. Want hij 666 een tijd op Zoom.
Ay wat?
666 op zijn boven zitten. Ik heb nooit gedaan. 666.
Wat?
Ja,
Mijn
ik heb
broer.
nooit gedaan.
Toen zei je gaan niet.
Sometimes are afraid to show our humanness and who we really are. That our
Eén boel maar zo zie ik maar zo cheaper op.
to the masses. And I said, you know what? I just gotta be who I am and show people like this is where I am. I walk. I am not perfect by any means. I like to have a good time. There's things I'm still working on, but I can show you all of them. I can do all these different things. And there's moments where I've actually struggled, like even with acting. Is it okay if I do these type of scenes or my character cusses a lot, you know? And there's times I'm like, ooh, like, this is a lot. Like I invited somebody from church this past week.
So waar heb je veel op je jongen soorten?
Ja, ik zie het.
And I was like, hey, I have around this scene with like, beep, 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 beep. Like it was so good. I was like, we really be cussing. And I didn't, that wasn't me, that was Fatima.
Ah, ik zo nooit. Ik zo nooit dat dingen zo niet.
They're not ready, but I did the episode with Lawrence, Miss Lawrence, and
Nee, maar we zien over zo'n dopheid, man. Zien
she's
je
like, we're in the Bible doesn't
gewoon
say
zien.
you can't cuss.
Is
It's
een
like
dopheid.
a person. It's a different.
You talking?
Come on, you know what it is. So I was like, I don't like it.
You talk. They not ready
They're
for
not
it.
ready for it.
Yeah, you talking.
Yeah, so.
No, that's good. It's funny because just to segue on that, I had to sit my kids down one night, and I was like, "Yo, it's about the intent of the heart, not the words that's coming out your mouth." So if I call you a pine cone head, but I mean I wish you would die, it's the same as me saying any other term. I said, now culturally, we look at some words and be like, "Hey," but they just words. You know what I mean? It's just the intent behind it. So, you know, sometimes you can give somebody grace while you saying something. That the word means a cuss word, like, yo, you like this stuff. That's a block. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm not cursing you.
No, I'm
trying to,
yeah.
but, you know, listen, don't get me started.
That's a whole, like you said, that's a whole other episode. You know, we can have a whole hour on that.
But it's funny because now there's, oh my gosh, you're so multi-layered. Like there's the sophisticated aspect of you who, you know, is a wine connoisseur and a traveler, and you know what I'm saying, got a little of that going on. Then there's this down to earth side of you, like, you know, it's like, you know, I'm just gonna kick it with you, whatever. You know, watch the game, chilling. Yep. You know, yeah. There's that side. Then there's literally like this side of you that's like very passionate about your faith, and you want to make sure that bleeds out. And then the celebrity thing that, and I think, I don't know about you, but I think for me, I have wrestled with how to navigate all of who I am and just being the full scope of myself. What does that look like for you on a regular basis?
Yeah, you know what? I think I've gotten to a place where I can be myself unapologetically.
Okay.
You know, I lived in a space for a while where I had survivor's remorse for being the one who has been well traveled, for being the one who can go to wineries in Italy and see the Mediterranean and sip on wine and spit it out and eat cheese. You know, there's different things I've been exposed to, and that's a big part of the TV being exposed.
Yeah.
But I think now I'm to a place where it's okay, this is my life, I'm accepting where I am, and understanding that there's that country girl that will walk outside barefoot, you know what I'm saying, still to this day, just to feel grounded.
Yeah.
There's the girl that can hop on a private jet and know how to behave and know how to carry myself around certain people. I can go have dinner with the president and then come and hang out with my cousins in Tennessee on the porch and just sit there and chill and still feel like myself and not feel like I gotta shit for everything, you know? And I think that's what people appreciate. They appreciate I'm just who I am.
I can see that. But
Kwijne.
that confuses me a little bit because it would seem that you being all of that would have no problem on the dating scene. I I wasn't gonna go there immediately.
Go there.
But as I'm just talking, because I remember me and my friends always say, man, you gotta be able to kick it at the White House and go to a Tupac concert.
That's a real thing.
And I'm like, you just said that. And that's what dudes want.
Let's talk about it.
So what's happening?
ใครกล้าเลินสุด
I feel like where I am now, okay, one, I have to take accountability for understanding that a successful woman, a woman who has ability on her own and be independent, almost to a fault, hyper independent, where it's hard to relinquish control, where it's hard to be like, okay, you got it. But also attracting someone and having someone come my life that makes you feel safe and be like, all right, you got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for me, I can say I haven't always had the easiest time of letting go because I'm so used to doing things a certain way. I'm so used to my life being a certain way.
Okay.
And trusting that my partner can, you know what I'm saying, can do that.
Okay.
And a lot of that comes from, and it's so many different levels that I look for in a man. Like, where he is with his walk with God, where he is financially, career-wise, passion. And for me, the men that I've attracted in the past, they weren't where they were, or where they wanted to be in their passion. I feel like for me, you have to be secure where you are.
Exactly. The buy the money.
Making more money. That's another thing. It's hard to find a man that's makes more money than I do. So I'm dating someone who
Pause. It's hard to find a man that makes more money than I do.
because like the guys who are, they're not coming to me. You know what I'm saying? So like the guys who do it,
That's true. That's
what I'm
facts.
saying. Yeah, not like saying like.
I'm just balling on y'all. I mean, it's like, hey, little dogs out here. I know
No.
I hear what you're
But
saying.
it's like, I guess where I am in like the sceneries that I'm in, like a lot of people, they're not making as much as I am. But you have to be a very secure man to step to a woman that is making what I make and living the way I live, to not feel inferior.
Yeah.
And I do my best to make sure that my person doesn't feel that way. But it's really up to you how you really feel and how you carry it. So the past few years, I just started dating last year, and I hadn't dated before that since 2018. I just focused on work. At that point, I was still styling Tyler and costume design.
Did
you not want to date, or you just?
Honestly, it just wasn't coming. Like, I think because I was so busy. It was almost like a sacrifice. I wasn't. Yeah, because I was so busy in work. I wasn't. If I wasn't working, I was sleeping. You know, it was one of those moments in my life. And then I feel like now it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like God has really opened up every door that I want, but my focus is on work. So finding someone to come in and be like, babe, I'm practicing do your thing. Like, I know this month we gotta shoot, so I'll make sure that we got some food when you come home. Like those things. I don't think we do. And I really like working like 18-hour days. Like we were working some long days. And by the time I wrap, the same dishes that were in my sink when I reported to work was still in the sink when I wrapped. And I was like, you couldn't have done that. Like, are you really going to the gym every day? Like, you were saying, children. What's happening here?
So what's the
So
deal?
the life of Hollywood television.
Well, what they have been is not being honest.
Okay.
You know, coming to me, trying to lay it out like we have it all together, and selling me a dream, and then the reality, the layers start to peel back. I'm like, oh, you're nowhere near what you were trying to sell or portray.
Yeah.
I did a Materius Whitfield's podcast, and I talked about one guy I dated, his Instagram, you would have thought, oh, we go tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, he on yacht, I'm on yacht.
At least just say my Louis. Just don't put the Louis back on there. Don't put the Toomey back on there. It's fine. It's okay, bro. It's like
You're trying to do something right, and I think for me, it's like just be who you are, you know. And it was a lot of where I felt like hiding things. That was a good word for me. It's like the transparency wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like just tell me what it is so I can choose whether I want to like. Because I'm big on showing into my partner. Like if I see that there's something that you really want to do and I believe in it, I'm gonna take it. You know. So like being in a space where like, all right, maybe the roles are reversed and I have to be the one to, because most times it's the guy who's like, hey, what you want to do? All right, here you go.
Right.
It's, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times it's different for me. Like, I'm the one to say, no, what is it you really want to do? Let's try to make sure that's what you want, and so that you can feel fulfilled. I think that's so important.
That's tough. And I mean, even as you're talking, I'm trying to process how I would have handled that or how I would navigate that. One, I mean, it takes maturity because wealth is not wisdom. A lot of people will mix that up. Like, just because you don't have the level of wealth somebody has does not mean you're devoid of wisdom and insight and whatever. But I think a lot of us will make that mistake. But I'm just even thinking, like, how would I navigate that without being intimidated?
Right, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, and I do think that my mindset would lack the confidence to try to. It's so funny how our identity is so wrapped up in financial wherewithal. Because I was always gonna work hard. I was always gonna be a provider, but I think it's like, oh no, I'm not gonna hurt nothing. So I should shit. I never dealt with that.
Ja, please, I'm gonna make a step, man. No 150.
So wait, how does that? Because in your 20s, nobody's thinking about it. Like,
Iedereen zei, vader, blessing van mij niet, zo.
buy me a drink. You know what I mean?
Blessing was helemaal jongens roepen.
Sorry. Ja.
It's another ball game because we have, like, when you're at this point, we've got established debt and credit and, you know, different things that you want somebody to just have a roof over their head. You know, you can't get our 40s. And I don't care, like, a roof could be an apartment. Like, it doesn't, but we're, like, I need to be able, not just be at my house. Like, we need to go to your house. You know what I'm saying?
Why we all in my house?
Why is all your stuff accumulating here? You know? Like, I need some pieces in your car. You know? I need a toothbrush and church flag. But little things like that, you know, making sure like we are equal in certain areas, and you don't have to have a big home. You know, like I understand, like, I'll say this, a really close friend of mine, her mother, when I was buying my house that I'm in now, she's like, you really gonna buy that big house? She's like, you're never gonna find a man. She really said that to me. I was like, well, I'm 40 years old, I'm gonna keep waiting. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna live my life and enjoy my family and, you know what I'm saying, and live how I want to live. I'm not going to stay in a townhouse, and I love my townhouse, but I'm not going to stay here when I know it's time for me to grow. And I'm not waiting on somebody, whoever God has me is going to be like, oh, my girl, she's doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already got the man cave ready for them and everything. Like, it's lit down there.
Come on now.
And I already have, like, yeah, so we're going to turn this, I'm already speaking, like, we are going to do this in your recovery room, you got the steam.
You gotta be careful saying it. Your DM's about to be crazy.
This is my camera. But I'm good.
Tuh, kung para yung manong ni dikanti. Ano, ilalala sa bayan lang.
Mantap bro.
Oh.
Lekker.
Do, wat is die studio zijn naam?
De Crazy Podcast. Ken je lekker in?
Ja, maar gewoon. Zij sturen man nooit goed te dieren om te kunnen zeggen, kijk die bouwen of kijk hij bouwen.
Oh, wees wel lekker in.
First of all, you can't have Tyler Perry vetting people. I'm intimidated at the thought. I need you to meet Tyler. Who Tyler? Who? Tyler Perry, right? I failed this test already. This is a waste of time. I have failed.
Kalau di phone staan stel die wat. Ik zoek klein speelingje in man. Zoek klein. Ja.
Stel. Hij beweert op elkaar.
When I just had a lot of podcasts, one of the biggest moments like of today, you know what I'm saying? It was huge. And to go home, my whole family was in town, but to not have anybody to download it, to share that moment with like, hey, can you believe this happened? Pull this off, and just talk to like my sisters going upstairs, her husband, her child, my brother and his girlfriend going upstairs, my nephew, my mom and dad are going upstairs, and then I'm just here at the end of the day, like, I guess I'm still good now.
No, you're at home not having an argument with somebody because they didn't show up for you when you wanted to. Okay, don't be trying to make single worse. It's not worse. It's different.
It's different. There are moments where you feel it versus other times where you're like, I'm cool. Because a lot of times it's almost scary how much I love my solitude. You know, like you can get so used to being alone. and I feel like I'm in that space,
Yeah.
there's only moments where I'm like, I wish I had somebody to share this with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I have to be careful with that too, because I'm like, I just want somebody I can share this life with. And God's like, here you go. And I'm like, oh, go ahead. That's what you asked for.
I can't imagine being like, cause spiritually, like, you know, and everybody does subscribe to the scriptures in a biblical way of doing things, right? But from a biblical perspective, spiritually, we know, okay, God, you have brought me here to be a covering, to be someone who can care for this person, and if financially that gets worked into the equation, and she's in a different place than I am, I can see God's brain starting to short wire. And I think what I would tell any of her potential suitors out there, I would say, man, focus on helping her be a good steward over what y'all will potentially have, instead of what, you know, instead of like, oh, she got this and I got this. It's like, well, help her steward. Imagine that's y'all's because y'all want to together. How would you help steward that for the benefit of y'all collectively? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still picking me on the head. So anyway,
It's tough though. I mean, like you said, I can't even begin to understand like what it is like a man who's already like wired to be a provider, to be the one that's taking care of. And he has like, I had a guy tell me, he was like, I don't even know where I fit in your life. Like, where do you need me? And I'm like, I need you. I'm like, what I need you? Like, I need your support. I need your affirmations. Like, I need your time.
yeah.
I need you to like help me with certain things. You know, there's certain things I like want to bounce out. He's like, hey, you know this.
Yep.
I can't do it all by myself. You know, even if I have a team, there's still some things I may want to bounce off my man to see like what he thinks about it.
Yeah.
And that when he said that, I was like, this is a real thing. Like, you really don't know what to get into my life. You're so used to a woman. I need money for my woman. I need this. Like,
Well, provider is not the. I think we have taken that concept that we have to be the provider as like that's part of our identity. And I think we're called to be leaders. And a leader can lead in humility, can lead in kindness, can lead in stewardship, can lead in a lot of different ways. And I think too, even as I'm listening to you, I can imagine you're a full-fledged boss.
yeah.
So sometimes you don't want to be hard, you want to be soft. So a man just needs to be able to let you be soft and not have to be in boss mode.
All the time, like,
You know what I mean?
exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, so that's it. And I said it too, like, I don't want to have to feel like I've got to be that all the time. Like, at one point, I was dating this one guy who was like, it was just something as simple as us going through the airport and I didn't have to, like, lug the bags. And I was like, what? I was like, is that Instagram where the girl, when she has a boyfriend, not a single thought in the world, because my man guy. And it's like something as simple as that, and even like a guy was like, he's like, you guys are so happy. And I was like, I really am. But
We don't, listen, I'm going to take it on as a project. I like it. I like this. I'm going to take it on as a project. I know for me, like, my wife was with me from the mother. So,
Wanneer die ooit te vrouw komt.
there's a sense
I
of
say
like,
it.
oh, I can appreciate her because she was
From the mud.
right?
I would say nee.
But it, yeah.
Als je...
But I also see that dudes get some money and some fame, and they like, hey, there's way more options out here.
yeah, it is. You know what I'm saying? For the wrong reason.
And so, as a guy, I can understand the struggle. Well, not the struggle, but the reality of
Yun
being
ba
a
kasi
celebrity
tindahan
and having,
Meron
you know,
skill.
financial security.
Kalyutan o po din marala.
What are the challenges of like having popularity and fame and celebrity and like how does that?
It's a lot because you want to make sure that people are around. Even it's not even just a relationship.
From the
Like,
mud, from the mud.
From the mud.
You wanna make sure
Red mud.
Okay.
and a lot of times sifting through that can be a challenge. Also, for me, it's understanding that, how do I say this?
You gotta be safe. You gotta be safe. The people want the real.
They do want to do that. This is really watching this. This is why I put the crank up back.
Nee, es ist gut hoor.
for me would be
He's a millionaire hoor. He's a millionaire.
Wow.
just knowing that he was running for the right
A
reasons.
multi-millionaire. Mense? Miljonair en rand.
In dollars.
Imagine him like that of anything. Jail with Gary.
Nee, Clayton.
I think that's the main thing that comes along when you start making money.
Yeah.
It's like who's around for the right reasons. And, yeah.
So I would personally, I would feel a way. I would feel a way about
Is the
you locking with somebody on camera.
oh, let's talk about that.
I would struggle. I'd be like, hey, bro,
It's tough.
I need to meet dude.
Yeah.
I need to know dude. Hey, dude.
Pull up.
I need you to know something, bro. They're my lips, bro. They're my lips, bro. You know what I'm saying? So how does that work?
We can talk about that. Yeah, so that's something else I had to actually talk to my pastor about, just like sex scenes and kissing. And the very first time I had to kiss DeVal, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I literally couldn't do it. Like, this is a married man. Like, I couldn't even separate the character from the person,
Yeah.
knowing his wife. I'm like, I'm literally like a second grader. Like, I couldn't even do it. I'm fifth grader. I would definitely kiss no one in second grade.
How you guys doing? Please don't. Also, hit that notification.
Period. But when it comes to like finding a man, like one guy I dated, he couldn't watch my show. He was like, I don't even want to watch it, don't want to see it. And that was, cause me, I'm the type of person like, I would bring my man to set. I need you to understand how this works. So you're like, oh, this is not sexy at all. Cause we try to explain that to people like, there's nothing sexy about
There's
it.
12 cameras pointed at me.
Literally, it's like,
Adam, you just
like, so
No,
you're having to act
zo,
like you're
ja,
enjoying
het
this.
gradeert ze.
There's literally no stimulation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not learning. And then you got people watching you. You know, so it's like, I'm not comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing cute about this.
Yeah.
So trying to explain to someone, this is what it is, this is, we're acting. And literally like, as soon as it's like cut, it's like, all right, what we got next? Like, there's no like, oh, I need a moment. There's no, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, what we doing next? You know? So.
You said you had to talk to your pastor, because I know, not just the kissing, but just even like,
The imagery.
being a different person. And well, I'd like to hear your struggles with that, because I've had to talk to people similarly, because I'm not asking for an acting opportunity, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I used to act as well.
Okay.
A movie or two, okay?
I feel like I've seen something.
You might have, you know, I mean, a couple things. You never know. You know, baby.
Give me your resume.
But I went. There's a place in New York called Center for Faith and Work, and I went and I talked to them, and just got some advice, you know, on how do they navigate this whole sacred secular thing. Because I've done songs with Ty Dolla $ign. I've done, you know, and how do you?
I love how you merge, like how you.
Yeah, how do you do all of that? And so I've had my own struggles with it. I'm interested to know how you process the wrestle.
So as the scenes were coming up, I was having conflicts of like just the image that I put out there for young women, you know. And I have so many, like a wide range of followers, from like teenagers all the way to women in their 60s. So for those young girls that I'm really trying to steward over, make sure that I give them a good example to live by. They watch the show, you know. Some of them, I don't even know if they're old enough to watch it, but they're watching it. And I want to make sure they understand this is not who I am. This is a character I'm playing. There are people out there like this. Because even my dad, he's like, you have to understand you're playing a character. He's like, you're not saying, this is what I do. You know? So he was like, just make sure that if you look on my timeline, I want people to see who the real is. So I kind of make sure I amplify that more so that you can see, okay, this is who she really is. That's just a character. But people love the character because there's so many people that are like this. You know, so my struggle is
yes, there are.
There's a lot of.
I have seen them. I know some Fatimas.
There's a lot of Fatimas out there, and they love her. They're like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I see myself in you.
Yeah.
But I love it more when people say, I see myself in you, Crystal. You know what I'm saying? Versus Fatima, I'm like,
Is haar naam Crystal? Een mooie naam, nee?
I might get with you. You know,
Like een diamantnaam, maar je weet van...
I'm like, all right now.
You gonna stop me?
Like champagne.
En zij lijkt ook zoals een diamant.
One of the things I love this.
Jij nog paar mensen in
I
hoor.
could be misquoted, but it could have been Denzel. But what I like.
Nee, maar ik moet zomaar net mijn eerlijke opinie, bro. Ik snaaks, bro.
And I play whatever character I have to play in order for the whole picture of that story to
Yo, bro, visie hij boonste tijd teruggeslaan.
And that was good.
Hij denkt gevaarlijk, man.
Nog
niet? Nou, hoe komen ze daarna?
Oh my goodness, no, seriously.
Die gedeelte we nog wat.
Oké.
And it's literally is about the whole.
Zo nog, hij volle in en niet.
I was just having this conversation with someone last night about, he's like, what type of sex scenes would you do? Like, and I'm like, you know, I said, for me, I said, I have in my rider certain things I will not show in my body. You know, because if I ever have kids, like, that's the bliss forever.
Ik lijk voor mensen wat zo aantrekken, maar nee, hij... Maar 2000 wil je van aantrekken. Nee, ze moet... Like... Niet zo open zien, man.
So I'm already mindful of those things, but...
Ik love mijn vrouw mensen zoals like onderwijzers, man. But like rokken aantrekken zoals hij, like ik love hij, boom.
Tell, and I'm a big fan of the art. You know, and if there's a
Como
way
se yo
to
ya probé
show
de
I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not like, I'm never doing sex things. I do, you know, but Tyler is very protective of me. Like, he'll come like, hey, what do you come to with? I'm writing this, how you feeling? I'm like, I ain't doing that. Yeah, I'm cool with that. T, I trust you. Like, just shoot it right. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it's beautiful. Don't let me out crazy. Everybody say roll right there. You know that little backpack, we need it, man. Go ahead and get that. The real now. So, you know, there's moments where, like, as an artist, I do want to serve the character because a lot of times as actors, if you're not completely consumed in that, you can judge a character. Not understanding that there are people out here like this, and that's what art is. It's just an imitation of life.
Yeah, one of the things I like about you in that whole process is that you're like a student. You're not like, this is my philosophy, this is it. You're like, I'm working on this, I'm thinking through this, I'm working through this, and I think a lot of times we get judged being public figures as we're in process.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, oh my goodness, I'm like, listen, I'm still trying to figure this thing out. And I need y'all to get off my back. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give God the glory and show you guys this is where I am in my life, but show you I'm not perfect. So I don't even want you to put me there. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking my baby steps and I'm walking through this thing, but it is hard when people judge you for trying your best. You know, and it's like if that same lens was turned around on them,
oh man,
you wouldn't be able to handle that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I say I didn't sign up for that when I signed to be an actor. I just wanted to create. You know, and that just comes along with it. But that's not something you like, oh yeah, and I want to sign to be judged and ridiculed, and I want you to like be a part of my entire life, make assumptions about me. That's not what we signed up for. We just want to create, we find joy in the creation.
Yes. And just trying to be human and having a human existence, and there's people who just like, well, you didn't do this right, you didn't do this, I ain't never done this before. I'm trying, listen, you figure out how to raise your kids. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out how to do all of this, but I'm doing it in front of the world.
Yes.
And so
you can't make mistakes in front of
it. So that's one of the things that I see constantly. You, from what I understand, you grew up in church.
Yes.
Okay. So I found this is kind of like interesting because a lot of my friends grew up in church, right? I didn't. Really? So I didn't meet Jesus till I had quite a bit of wild situations in life. I was a grown man.
Okay.
And it was kind of like, you know, you running your life into the ground. And it was like, all right, I'm gonna meet Jesus. I'm gonna be serious. I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna do the things that I need to be doing.
Yes.
So for me, because I was wild, I was out there. So for me, because I don't really understand moderation well, I'm either here or there. But a lot of my friends who grew up in church, they can navigate, and I'm always curious, like so I'm even asking them, I'm just like, how? So wait, y'all just get right here, and then you went to church in the morning, and how does that work? And my man was like, well, you just avoid the 5 big ones, right? Don't drink, don't cuss, don't smoke, don't have sex, and number 5, don't get caught. And I was like, how does it work? Yeah. So how, like, what is that? I'm just, as somebody who's curious, I feel like I have FOMO sometimes when I'm watching my friends who grew up in church. Like, how do you navigate all of that?
You know what? I'm, like I said, we live in this thing, I walk out in public. I feel like I'm at a point where you don't live life, and I feel like if I'm not hurting anybody, on myself, and it's pure fun, and I get to enjoy myself, because some like people are getting on people like, I want to see Beyonce, saying we were like, worship the devil, I'm like, good. I love the Lord. I was in the prayer circle with Beyonce in the back, so I know who we pray to. And they said, in Jesus' name we pray. So I don't know what y'all talking about, but I'm gonna go. You know, they judge like you can't go do anything. And for me, I want to make people see that like being a Christian can be fun. Like it doesn't have to be like this boring life. And I'm not saying that everything I do is good or bad. You know what I'm saying? There's something I don't know. So I see how much I get. You know, but I know like there's things where I feel like I can be more good than if things that disappoint them.
That's what I'm so. It's funny because that's what I was literally talking about, and I was just like, how do you? I struggle with moderation so bad. I don't know how you do this. How do you? Yeah, and I'm like, how? But what he said to me, he said, shout out to my guy Swoop. He said, man, when you grow up in church, you don't grow up feeling like you're going to be kicked out for messing up.
No.
You grew up knowing there's grace. You grew up knowing you're loved. And so it's not like, better not, because it's over for you.
Yeah, there's some people that were raised like that.
Right, that's true.
Where they feel like if I do one thing wrong, I'm going to hell.
Right,
you never see that.
For sure. But just like, I've heard a lot from people who like, oh, my daddy's a pastor, because my wife grew up in church. And so, and her experience is so much different. And I'm just like, y'all just, how do you, and think that, because for me, I don't know how, because if we're not talking, because she was in an argument with me when we won't talk. But I'm like, but then she can go to church on Sunday. And I'm like, if I ain't talking to you, I ain't going to church. What you at? If we off, we off. Right. If I'm bad, I'm bad. Now we get outside, we together. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, how do you do this? So,
I feel like everything is a balance. And I'm not giving the horoscopes, but I'm a loser. So I feel like everything for me is a balance.
Yeah.
Where like I wake up in the morning, I'm in my word. And I gotta go work out. I'll probably listen to church music all the way up until sometimes I'll listen to it all the way through my workout.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I get to feel like I need to do something else. So it's like, but I'm gonna start my day off with God to carry that through. And a lot of times when I don't do that, and it's literally exactly what I needed to give me what I should have read to get me through the day. So I would know how to attack it.
It's more of a lifestyle for you.
It's a lifestyle,
more incorporated into your life. Which makes a lot of sense.
And just, for me, it's all about giving him the glory in every aspect.
Yeah,
I think it's not about me. It's like, it's all about God. But also, I feel like sometimes, like, the whole
Ay, ba't ako nito?
it might be a turn off. You know what I'm saying? Where, like, every word of it. Yeah, because blessed is the Lord and God is good. And
Okay, bayar siya din yun eh.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
I did not understand that.
listen. And then, like, for those of you, like, behind closed doors are the person. I'm like, come on. Like,
see, I never got that far. See, I didn't grow up in church, so I never wanted to be churchy. So I was like, that's weird to me, bro. You 17 wearing suits and talking about blessed and highly favored. You weird to me, bro. Like, I love Jesus, and God's just weird. I don't get it. So I just see that. But when it comes to the guys you date, or have dated, or so feedback on dating, I'm just curious, like, what is that?
You need all this guy.
Thank you. That's on my job.
Yes.
How does that like work? Like what does their background even look like for you, and where is their values, and how does all that incorporate? Because if I'm being honest, I'm trying to think of some single guys who love Jesus, and it's obvious, and it's not like, oh, you know, I go to church sometimes. Like, what is that?
So that was the thing for me. Like, one of my things that I have to have in a relationship is someone that has a relationship with God. Because I feel like once you have that stable, then you can lead me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like that's a big part of me letting go too. Like knowing that everything every choice you make, you pray about this. You ask God for guidance. Because every day I'm like, Lord, order my steps. Every business decision. And somebody said, I can tell you don't move without talking about it. I don't. Like anything I do, like, Lord, this is what you want me to do. I'm never like I'm gonna do it. Like I literally pray on it, like, all right, God, because everything that looks good isn't good for us. So for me, with a man, like I've noticed in the past relationships, I've been the one saying, come on, we need to go here. We need to go to church. We need to go to church. And one morning, no, all the time, you know, I need somebody excited. Yo, we gotta get this word, so we can like apply it to the week. I'm big on that. And I'm big on, because I'm a season ticket holder for the Hawks. You ain't got no problem going to games all day. When it's on Sunday, then you make they'll be clapping. You know what I'm saying? Like the same energy I'm giving to John taking trade, I'm giving to you.
Come on, man.
And he's like, you want to just sleep in? I'm like, no. Like, if I go to a game last night and stay up late, I'm getting up and going to church. And he's like, and I didn't think about it like that. I'm like, yeah, but I need you to think. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just like, all right, like it's a thing. Like, we're going to church. It's not a. There's times where I'll literally book my travel around getting back for church. Like, I can literally like land at 6 a.m. I'm at that 10:30 service because that's how important that is to me. Just being fed and being in the house with like-minded, not protecting the assembly. You know, there's other times where like I'm too busy, but I'm gonna make sure I'm watching it. I'm shutting everything down so I can focus. And even if I'm in my room, like the Holy Spirit is there. There's nothing like being in church. You know what I'm saying? So for me, a part of being like relationships with others and having a relationship with God. Because if I feel like I'm leading to church, then I don't feel like you can lead me in my life. Like I need you to argue like I'm in my room, baby, and I understand what you need, you understand what I need, and let's do the thing together. I think that's a big part that's missing with the men that I've been attracting.
Yes.
And I can say that's who I've been attracting. I don't know what it is. I think a part is like you feel like your life can make people change or excuse me this and make them want to come, but that's not what they gotta be doing. Sometimes they can get, okay, this is cool, and they're like, let me build my own thing. What did you think about? Sometimes you can be like a thing where they really like turn their life over, but I would rather somebody argue from you.
We don't want to do that thing. You're too old for that.
Period. You know what I'm saying? Come with it together. Come with it together. I want to take these case off sometimes.
So what? Cause that's man. When you said you want somebody, like typically, what kind of dude? You say typically the dudes that you're running into are dudes who are not haven't been on that page. Like they kind of like you gotta drag them.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, you are multifaceted. You're not like, and I don't want to make this sound bad because I'm not like this either, but I'm trying to think of a good way to say it. But you're not like the person who's super churchy, I guess. So what about that guy when he comes along? He's a super churchy guy.
Hij gezegd, oh, je moet zo die Jan.
But you know, like, that's so true. Like
Hoe lang nog meer?
Oké.
Ambragai.
Ja. So like, somebody super churchy.
Voel voor je wacht man.
I feel like a lot of times they don't have a sense of.
Het lijkt in zo vaarlijk om ze zeggen, nou, je moet niet eindelijk aan je doen niet. Je moet dan afzetten en dan inhouden, dan aanzetten.
Oh, shut up.
So okay, that's, and as I'm listening, I'm like, okay, I see what it is. Because you have eliminated the two big swaths of guys, and you are in this little space in the middle.
Yeah.
I feel like I understand that space very, very well.
Yep.
It's not a lot of us in this space. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's people who pretend on this side, like, yeah, what all that? And then there's people who act like they can handle right. That's it's funny because people would be like, man, just love you walk. How do you and your wife do Bible study? And I'm like, bro, we do not do Bible study together because we would fight.
You see what this word is?
It'll be a fight. It'll be a fight. There was times early on in marriage when it was like, we do Bible study together. And she would be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't. And when you teach me, I don't be getting it. They be getting it, I don't be getting it. And I'm like, I'm not a good husband. I don't know how to teach you. How do I teach you? He's like, I don't get. I need to go listen to Priscilla Shower. I need to listen to something. I can't. This don't. And she's like, I'm not saying you're not good. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm just saying when you do it, I don't get it. And I was like, and that's okay.
That is okay.
That's my Priscilla. Come holler at me.
Yes.
Come, let's do the Bible study.
Right.
So I totally understand that. It's like, man, people just have these levels of expectations.
Yeah.
I actually had your pastor, Gary, on the phone.
I love Pastor Gary.
I told him I knew. I mean, I know. You know what I mean? So that's dope to see the dynamic in the relationship that y'all have, and just, him and Shanika, and I was like, okay, you got a great community around you.
I do, and I'm so blessed because it's hard to find a good church nowadays, especially if you've been church hurt. Or if you've been misled, it's hard to. There was like, 'cause I went to, I've been to a lot of churches, but I had started going to Passion, Pastor Louis Church, and then
Yep.
and then I went to another church and tried to talk to me. So then I stopped. Yes.
And then pastor,
Well,
and then
having a divorced wife and tried to come and say, well, I'm not going to be single for long. So I'm basically trying to go ahead and like lie. I'm like, wait a minute, wait. I said, bro, if you don't get out of my face, like wild. So from there, I didn't go to church in a while. Like, what are you watching? What are you watching on? What are you watching on? My time, yeah, we started watching online because I was like, I'm over it with all churches. So I had Chandler Moore, little brother of mine, had a change in the pop-up, and he sang for the pop-up. I was like, yo, so somebody's singing for this church, you gotta come. I'm like, all right, cool. So I came, and then he spoke, and I was like, oh, and my brother had been watching him, and I was like, this is the guy my brother's talking about. So then like a year later, they brought the church here, and from the first Sunday to now, I've been there. Like, I was locked in there.
So what happened when you went to Ivy?
All right, I haven't seen her, but I'm gonna get some church. When the clip played out, I was like, oh my god, did I see it?
First of all, we didn't heard Fatima say wait. So,
But honestly, when I met them, like, yo, she actually really funny. They saw more of me.
Yeah.
But I do, because I feel like, one, it's gonna lose you that quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm bringing my friend to church, I should bring the person I'm dating to church. I need you to, you know what I'm saying? I don't take you anywhere else, you know what I'm saying? Why would I bring you to the Lord's house to see it? And I had one dude that just like broke out his sweats every time with the church, and I was like, what? The devil of basketball.
Too much wine.
I said, go to the bathroom tonight and on lotion. I said, that ain't no lotion. I don't know why you feel like that. It ain't that hot. I'm over here jumping up and down, praising the Lord, and you don't
dayımız sıkıntı.
That's your story. You should do that. Okay, go to the bathroom and get the towels. But yeah.
How long did you know this guy?
Go to the gate.
Craig, I literally big time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the roles had reversed, and we like went back up and met again. And I'm like, maybe I should try this again. This is my I was who I am now. So I know I knew love me before. So I was like, let's try this again. And it was just a lot of baggage. And once you like really get to know, it's like, okay, there's a reason why God removes you.
I'm watching this sweating right now.
I'm talking about, no, it's like a cartoon, like, raining down on me, type stuff. Like I was like, you had to make me like 2 days enjoying the sun. But yeah, so yeah, I do take out. I like to take
My brother.
because that's I feel like that's an important. Like I said, it's an important part of the relationship.
How's it, my brother?
But I can take
Lekker, you know what's good, my bro. Always.
and we can apply it to the week.
No, bro. I was supposed to be at work, but I'm not at work. Yeah, bro. Further on, what you say? Okay, I'm listening. Okay. Zit een beetje harder aan.
For me, I'm like,
Ik ben zoeken plek om te hier komen. Die van iemand die.
not as disciplined.
Die naar gepluk. Die noemen ze door.
Waar je dan?
I mean, in some ways, as generous as they are, and I feel like that's why I need Jesus. You know what I mean?
Voor plek of iets.
Jesus to make me into the person that I am not in my own strength, in my own abilities. And it's funny because in my marriage, I'm like, you know, we couldn't be married if we weren't both subscribed to the same faith, because that's what I base my perspective off of. You know what I mean? So it's,
understand that we believe in something different.
you know what I mean? So it's like, and then on top of that, it's like, if I'm like, hey, let's pray, she's like, I don't do that prayer stuff. I'm like, I'm stuck. I don't know. Or if she doesn't believe in anything, and now it's like, well, I just do what I want to do when I want to do it. And to be honest with you, my wife wouldn't do that with me, because there was a time in my journey where I just was in full doubt. I didn't believe in nothing. And I was like, well, why am I even married to you? What's the point of marriage? Who says we should be married? And who says... I'm like, what is the point of anything? And I was like, I ain't know about studying these kids no more. And she was like, oh my Lord. And I praise God for her. She was grounded and just held on. But that was a dark time for both of us because it's like, man, we're not on the same wavelength. And you can see now, I can see now why it's like your parents say, oh, wait, y'all are equal to yours. And I can see now, even in my own marriage, how it's like, oh, this is dangerous because we are on way two different ends of the spectrum. So I can definitely see that. But I do appreciate, you just being honest about your journey and your pathway. I think that, what I always tell, I got cousins who are of different religious views and different perspectives, and what I always tell them is, man, I appreciate your work, your effort, and your dedication. I said, man, as far as I've researched, every religion is climbing, trying to, like you said, order, climbing, trying to be the best version of themselves. I said, but in Christianity, it's where God sees, oh, y'all ain't gonna be able to do this in y'all own strength. I'm gonna have to reach down and pull you up. I'm like, that's me. Yes. That's me, Lord. That's me, Lord. Pull me up. So, it's wild, man. Where I'm at. I gotta ask you this. Because we talking about dating. Yeah. We talking about, what I'm saying? I saw you say it. That's how you say it. I saw you say it. It ain't no boom, 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 you jump the broom. Yeah, that's what I heard. You said you ain't sleeping with them until you get a ring on the thing. Okay. So don't take it like that. There was a season in my life.
Very difficult topic to talk about.
There was a season in my life where it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm not having sex. But there was a season where I was like, God, I want to do it your way. Like I want to feel love the way you intended for me to feel it and experience it. So I was dating this guy and I was like, I we had dated for like a couple of months now. We had done because there's number like that 90 days period. So don't do nothing for 90 days because you'll know what he's around for. And I told him, I was like, I don't want to have sex. I was like, I really want to experience what they got intended. And he was like, you know what? I feel you on that. He said, because I feel like every time like I do have sex with somebody, everything just goes downhill. You just being mature about when you look back over like the past relationships, you're like, wait a minute. It did all kind of shit. Right?
It was crazy,
like the scales come out, guys. You're like, oh, the woman turns crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're lying. And what do you call it? It's so true, though. Like everything changes. It's like, what is that? And I was like, I don't want to feel that. I said, I really want to cultivate a friendship that turns into my best friend, where we know each other outside of this. So that when we do that, it's like, oh, this is the icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? But I love this person. When we get old, that's gonna go away. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
it ain't gonna wait for me.
I'm like, period. But like, I'm talking like, there's some point where it's like, right. I mean, some people don't know, like, yes, it's Westwood. And I don't know, I be here all the time. I'm crazy, y'all. But so I can't say that's like something that I'm going to do. I just gotta see.
We want you to do it. Come on. Let's do it. Hey, come on, man. Hang in there. Come on. This is greater later. It's greater later.
So I'm like, I'm not dating, so like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest.
See, somebody gonna watch you. Oh, so what you say?
You got the right one. I don't wanna put that out there and then be human and slip up and then.
Well, it's not. I don't want people to feel as if it is the crime of all crimes. But I do want people to, understand like what you're saying, the sacredness of it and the specialness of it. And like, hey man, I don't want this to just be. It's just a physical act. You know what I'm saying?
And I've never been like that. There's so many people, men and women, that I know that can be good. I'm like, you did not like have any like that. You can get like, all right, I'm cool. No, like,
Yes.
Where's the ring? We're married now. Like I wake up like, it's like that shit really happens. So like I talking about it, I still do want it the way God intends for me to have it. And that's when I think if I have the right man who is led by God, he's not going to focus on
Let me do my job.
Come on, McCray.
Let me do my job. Okay, not if I. When I. Come on, let me do my job. Okay, I'm trying to help you out.
Please help me
You know what I'm
out.
saying?
Yeah.
So, she got season tickets.
No, I need somebody to go to that, fill that extra seat for me.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, but it be time. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just throw it out. No big deal.
A lot of times I really gone, so this time I'm like, I just try to tell them like, you might trying to go. I'm busy. Yeah,
I did that.
it's just a write off. Like I enjoy going to games, but it's a
Yes, this is Xavier. This is Xavier. Ze praten.
Zij het ding is de beauty. Ik wil voor mij ook het channel opmaken. En hoe komen andere met 163,000 views op? Gooi daar op YouTube. Zo, ik denk ik ga nog wat bij subscribers krijgen.
Ja, bedoel.
Like they have a perception of him, good or bad, but you know the real version.
Zo die man, wat kijk Riley Williams, als ding is een man. Is gek zijn.
I've heard he is.
Zo die man ook elke dag.
I have heard that he works like a workhorse around the clock. But what do you feel like? What did you learn?
Ja, geloof je het zo maar is, maar
Oh my gosh, it hurts so much. We can go back to how hard he works.
Okay.
My work ethic.
Hij deed toen leuk klauwen. Hoe kan hij nou nog in klauwen?
Die man wil elke dag dit doen. Elke dag. Sorry voor de camera interruptions, guys.
Directing every show, every movie, doing plays, doing press, and I'm with him for all this stuff. And I'm like, man, like I gotta go harder. Like, it's in my eyes, he's made it. You know, this is before you even hit $1 billion. I'm like, he's made it. Yeah. I'm like, if he's doing this and he's already made this much for himself or this, you know what I'm saying, this much success, and he's still working this hard, I gotta go harder.
Die winnaar is geannounced hoor. Die winnaar is geannounced. Ik weet niet, op mijn WhatsApp niet. Maar die winnaar is announced. In die comment section ook gesê wie is die winnaar. So, ja. Maar daar is nog een riddle. Nog een riddle in die making. Is zo'n financiële op social media.
En dan wat winnen mensen dan? Tattoos. Nice. Nou, hoe kom weet ik ja van...
En ze, kijk, mis dit is niet.
Ik zeg, oh man, werk bij hem, jongen.
Zo weet ik.
Well, I mean, if it was like a 300-something townhouse, it'd be like probably 20,000, you know what I'm saying, just to put down. And he goes, okay, go get your home. And I was like, we're literally in a bathroom. He's in the full Medea, and I'm...
So Medea bought your house, really?
That's Medea right here. Wow, Medea. So I was like, wait, and literally like the next day, he called me at like 6, and we had a long night, and he was like, send me your confirmation so we can get this money over. Within minutes, I had the money. I ran on his bus. He was like, thank you so much. He said, go get your house. And he said, make sure it's brand new. Tyler was so like hands-on. He even like came to look at the house, look at the foundation. Because Tyler was actually going to be an architect before anything. So he loves homes. Wow. So my first home was because of Tyler. When I walked on set, the day after I bought it, he goes, I give you 4 years, you'll be in a mansion. I'm like, huh? He didn't even remember saying this. 4 years to the day he calls me and he goes, you still in that little apartment A little condo, a 4-bedroom, 3-level townhouse. You still have a little apartment
In your 4-bedroom, it's mine. I like my little house.
It's just me. He said, nah. And he said, I know you feel like you just got through the door, but you're good. He was like, you're good. Go do what you want. He said, I live my life. Think, okay, I'm just going to do what I can do right now. He said, God just kept blessing me. And then I looked back and I'm like, man, I should just got what I wanted because he provided. God made provision. He said, don't do that. He said, go for what you want. He's like, it's gonna continue to provide for itself. And I was like, okay. So I ended up getting that house, and he was gonna help me renovate it. And then I was like, I'm tired of waiting on these permits. And he was like, I called him and I found another house. He said, all right, I bought that house from you. He bought the house from me. I went and bought the house I'm in now. But I tell you this man, they have my own house back from that.
Wow.
Gorgeous. But this is just how he always like, he pushes his feelings to think bigger. And he exposes you to things where you're like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. The first time I went to his island, I was really just touching the leaves. I'm like,
Yo.
the island was like big. Like, this house, like, it's not just like a little hut. Like, this is like tennis court. Like it's unimaginable. And I'm like,
Het crazy voor my lord. Ja, uncle. Wat zien we bij André? Ja, morgen brengen we hem. André rook je ook daar gaan. Oké, Wam. André, kom bel je me even. Rook is kijken, André. Het is kaas waar je eet, maar... Hoe? Erin is dat is recht, Wam.
Every single payment that he has to make. And that's a lot of payments.
Je gaat morgen brengen.
He knows where all his money's going. And so
Oké, is recht hoor. Stap. Ja, je gaat nou een tuin maken, Abiel. Airi. Nee, jongens, die mal. Het is de sier. Ja. Die man wacht eerst voor jou, wanneer hij komt.
For me, after that strike we just had last year, I never want to feel my life.
Die van bij die bagage gekleed.
Dat is een serie, ja.
Oh. Hij twee smallies.
Twee gezichten, ja. Twee gezichten voor je opzetten.
Twee gezichten voor je opzetten. Twee kennen zijn gezichten. Ja, is recht, ja. Die man is hier. Ja, ga nou komen, Abiel.
Stap. Wat blijft het?
Airi.
Still have a lot more money to put in places so that when I'm done with this, I can keep and choose. I want to do that role. Or I don't want to do that because I'm making so much money over here by properly stewarding over the funds I got.
That's so good. There's two things I heard. One is that I don't want you to take for granted that Tyler did say all that stuff to you, and he did tell you to do that, but I don't think he tells that to everybody.
No.
I think he saw what was in you.
Yeah.
Because even as you're talking, I'm like, oh, he just saw a boss and was like, yo, you're not acting like a boss. You're acting like a bicycle when you're a whole arm.
Got plans. Yeah.
So I see that. And the other thing I see, honestly, is like, you know, somebody who is really like putting pieces together to do something probably beyond what even you know right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm like, oh, you building stuff, but I don't even know if you know. You know what I'm saying? What you building, for sure. But that's super dope to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, okay, now I'm still,
He's amazing.
I got some work to to do.
Yeah, no, I feel like that I feel poor every time I'm around him. I'm like, and I'm like, look, I'm poor. Like he's always well.
It's a different.
It's a different. Like you don't have to think about nothing for the rest of your life. Type of
Yeah, like after I think I saw something like I forgot what it was, but it's basically like $1,000 like $1 to a person who has $1 billion net worth. $1,000 like $1, so like $20,000 like $20. So it's like
I was like, oh, that's a double cheeseburger. I literally that's my job. Like, oh, that's just a double cheeseburger.
That's crazy though. Just to like think about it from that capacity and like but he still seems very accessible and down to earth.
Like he just came to church with me, went to have brunch. Where we going to eat? Like I was like, pull up here. And I'm like, you want to go to the party? He's like, no, we just eat right here. Like he's not like, I need to, nobody can see me. You know what I'm saying? He's not like, he's very like personal. There's sometimes where like I feel like I gotta protect him because I want him to enjoy it. You know, and sometimes you know how it is. Like, ooh, can I get a picture? Like, mid-bite, like, bro, I'm trying to eat. You see, I'm with my family. So I'm trying to do what I I like it.
You did.
Yeah. Okay. I try to think he's so cool. So cool down to earth. And one thing I love about him too is that he doesn't you can like he sees a need and he provides it. You know what I'm saying? There's sometimes where you don't have to ask. You know what I'm saying? I've seen not even me, like I've seen it with other people not be like so like even there's something else he did, like he always looks out for everybody. So there was a point where we hadn't worked for a while. It was during COVID. And I didn't know how much this meant to this guy, but I had called some people that worked for me when I was costume designing and saying, hey, you can help the bills. Like I was gonna help people because I was still getting paid. Tyler had called me and said, hey, are you good? You need me? And I said, no, like I'm still on payroll, thank God. Like God covered me during that time. Like I did not miss nothing. I was able to actually enjoy just my time and not have to work, you know, in my home. I was able to enjoy that, and it was a blessing. I don't take that for granted. But in that, with him asking me that I need him, I'm like, I need to ask him today to help. You know what I'm saying? So like, I called people, and one of the guys came back, and he talked about, he said, y'all don't know this because when we were in public session on Tyler, and I started crying. And he was like, Crystal called me and was asking me to help, and I was tired that she did that for me. And Tyler was like, and I was like, but that's who you are. Like, the way you act and with your actions, if people are the right people around you, they grab onto that. And then they do it in return to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how it's given, he's given, if it's given to the right person.
Entire Paris
I'm just
Magdo.
grateful that I didn't take it for granted.
Oh, no, wait,
Some
please,
people be like, oh, you got it. You know what I'm saying? No, I appreciate everything. And I make sure that I pay it forward.
And now you're becoming a brother.
Yeah, in my own way.
This is listen, man.
Hard to
This
sweep,
has
but
been
man.
phenomenal. Like just
I've enjoyed talking to you.
more than I like for real. Like now I'm like
Maggot, I'm not understanding what you're trying to say. Are you asking me if it's okay when your friend wants a tattoo, but it's a mental?
And I feel like, man, a lot, like, yeah, we move better as a community, you know, than these islands who act like they got it all together. And it's, but then we can talk about that next time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a treat. Many of you out here know this woman as a profound Bible teacher, an astounding, brilliant mind. But I know her as Self. My sister Self.
For many believers, for many Christians, the question we often find ourselves toying with is how close can I get to sin without crossing the line?
That's right.
For the disciple, that's not even the right question. The question for the disciple is how close can I get to Jesus?
That's right.
So when you stop toying with sin altogether, is this thing pushing you towards the right life? If it's not, then really it's sin to me.
Don't preach that. I'm gonna throw my shoe at you right now. You just gonna preach over me. To see a woman preaching, he was like, wait, what's happening? And I was like, what?
for a very long time saying no to our Sunday morning invitations. Wow. Mostly because this is the deep end with the whole.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a treat. We have something incredibly special for you. Now, many of you out there know this woman as a profound Bible teacher, astounding, some of y'all know her as the actress in some of your favorite Christian movies. But I know her as Silly. My sister Silly. Okay, and we gonna talk to all of Scylla sides today. But I'm excited because man, we have the incredible Priscilla Shire, and I'm just grateful to have you here today.
I'm glad to see you.
Yeah,
My brother.
Absolutely.
You know, all the people that know me say Silly.
Listen, there has to be when you have a long name like that. You got like it's like I can't look crazy. It's like that's great. You know what I mean? It's like I just you know. I am curious. That's interesting. Priscilla was your name as a child. Did anybody make fun of you for that?
No.
Okay.
I'm not being make fun of.
No, but I'm just saying it's biblical. But I didn't know
it was kind of an old time thing.
That's what I was gonna say. Right. Right. But you know, we grew up with kids with all kinds of names.
Yes.
So
nobody said anything about Lecrae?
I got a couple, but for the most part, you know, just like one little round of name calling, but not too much. You know what I mean? We made it. We survived. I'm excited because, you know, over the years, you know, I've just gotten to, from afar, admire and respect what you do. And from afar is sometimes hearing your voice on my wife's iPad or something along those lines, and she's doing a study or something along those lines. But then over the years, getting to know you as a live and breathing human being, you know, and it's been a blessing to see just all the multifaceted sides of you. So getting to know you, the person, is so refreshing and encouraging. And then sometimes I'll hear you speak and I'm like, oh, she's brilliant. You know, like, but it's sincerely.
You know,
and
Sister
I'm just
Scylla,
like, I think it's important that people know, like, there's many facets to a person.
Yeah.
Do people think that you're not, like, I don't know, do they have a perspective of you, like, oh, she's going to be very serious, or she's going to, this is how her approach is going to be?
I think so. I think that's how we do everybody though. Like you see from afar, we create and our
Duas semanas, bro.
they know what they're about.
Right.
And then you get to meet them and you kind of like, oh, wait, they're regular.
Right. Right.
So, you know, I think that honestly, as you were saying that, one of the things I thought back to was, you know, I have 3 boys, as you know, and when they were young, much younger, I said to them, I will take you wherever the 116 crew is, wherever they're at, because they were and still are totally just into you and that brotherhood.
Wow.
So I said, wherever they're at, I will go. So we went to different cities, met you guys, and went to the concert. And that's how they felt meeting you. They see someone from afar, and then they meet someone who looks them in the eyes, who smiles at them, who shakes their hand, who asks them questions, which places value on them, that someone would take the time. And I think that, you know, that was probably a decade or more ago now that they first met you. But you become a well-rounded person in their eyes. And then they even, I think people receive from you more fully when they see he's regular. He's not a superhero. He's just a man on whom the hand of God lies. And they see themselves in you too. You got these young black boys who see a black man who's honoring God, but still has his full swag.
All of it.
That's speaks to myself. So I'm grateful for that.
Sometimes I have to turn the swag down a little bit, so that, you know, I understand. Maybe I gotta turn it down some. But, you know, all right, so this thing right here is an album. I know you may not know what an album is, like the thing that plays records. A record, in order to listen to it, you have to flip it over to hear both sides. Now, generally, the A side of the record is all the commercial hits, all the stuff that everybody knows. The B side is like the deep cuts, the stuff that most people don't get to hear. But y'all, there's a B side to our worlds, to our lives, that most people don't get access to, that most people don't talk about.
Yes, we're done, folks.
We want to do. That's what the Freestyle app is. It's a place where we're going to wrestle with the things that generally are not seen in public. We're going to talk about things that maybe you wouldn't want anybody else to know you wrestle
This
with.
guy almost
This
cried,
is a
guys.
safe place. If you download the B-Side app, which you can do for free,
You can see his
you
tears
get
in
to
his
listen
eyes.
to my episodes on the deep end a day early. I mean, come on, what are we talking? We're talking early access. Who doesn't like early access? So we're giving you that. Download the app. Enjoy.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to tune in tomorrow morning. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you guys tomorrow. Cheers, bye.
That way as a child.